Welcome to Can Do Teaching. This is Stacy Graff. I'm the principal at Canterbury Elementary School.
And I am Amy Fournier, the assistant principal at Canterbury Elementary School.
Our podcast is about can do teaching as we do it here at Canterbury Elementary School in Crystal Lake, Illinois. On it, you will hear experienced educators sharing their expertise, tips, and tricks when it comes to academic and social-emotional strategies to help meet the needs of elementary students in the world today.
Our goal is to create global citizens who are prepared to not only take on the challenges they face, but to add positivity and joy to the communities they live in. You should listen if you are ready to learn and laugh and become part of a community that extends far beyond the doors of Canterbury School. We have a couple of amazing instructional coaches joining us today. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
I am Megan Sutter. I'm the math and science coach here in District 47. I've been a coach for about 7 years.
And I'm Concetta Carangella. I'm the ELA social studies coach in the district, and I have also been a coach for about 7 years.
Thanks for joining us today, ladies. Today we're going to be talking about some ideas for summer engagement strategies for families to do. I was thinking about what I used to do with my kiddos when they were younger, just to try to keep them engaged and learning throughout the summer. And one of the things that my kids really enjoyed was doing a neighborhood book club where the kids voted. We gave them some ideas on some books and they voted and chose a book. And then we would take turns and host the book conversations at different houses throughout the summer.
I love that. How fun.
Yeah, it was always great fun. My son loved it. Specifically, he really enjoyed that. So I was just thinking of do you have some ideas on how teachers could kind of facilitate that for families at home?
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I just love that. And what teachers can do is tap into those digital platforms that we have. Maybe it be Seesaw or even just a simple Google Doc, something collaborative that your students can get to over the summer and maybe share what they're reading. You could pick those books before the summer started as a class, or maybe just have it free where students can just, post what they're reading and a little bit about it, just to keep that excitement about reading over the summer.
Some fun things that my students used to really like to do were take shelfies with their books. So when they finished a book, they would get to take a picture of themselves holding up the cover of the book, and then they would be able to give a little description of if they liked the book, if they didn't like the book, who they would recommend it to. Maybe they wouldn't recommend it at all, and they had to explain why. And they got really into that, and it was exciting for them to then see, their peers with the same book. Another thing that a group of students really got into one year was doing that with their pets at home or their stuffed animals. So I would get a lot of pictures of dogs and cats and birds reading books, and then a little description of what the book was about. But it was just a really fun way to see what they were reading, and then they would get excited about sharing it in different ways.
I love that. And I know that as a teacher, it would be great to have that information shared with you. So if you're teaching fourth grade, to share that with the fifth grade teachers so that they could welcome kids back with their pictures or reviews of different books that they've read over the summer. That would be a really cool thing to have on loop as kids came into the school on the first day. Do you have any ideas about maybe resources in the community that you could recommend for teachers or for parents for kids to continue their learning that way?
The first thing that comes to mind is always our local libraries. They do a lot of programs at the end of the school year where they'll come in and talk up some of their summer learning programs that they have. But it's just a really great place to visit. They have so many resources, even beyond the books. I know they have STEM kits you can check out and different things that can really promote learning over the summer.
And just so that our families here in Crystal Lake know, if you are a D47 student, you do now have access to the Crystal Lake Library. I know some of you might live in other communities in the surrounding area, and just as of this year, there was an agreement made. And so everybody that's a D47 student can access the Crystal Lake Library if they'd like. So that's
super exciting.
Yeah, that's a big big advantage for families.
And I know where I live, we're kind of part of different systems. Like we're sometimes part of Barrington, we're sometimes part of Wakanda. But you can also check where, if you're not part of Crystal Lake, if your library partners with other nearby libraries.
Yeah.
So I know like I can attend a lot of events in the library that isn't my home library, as long as I show them that I have a library card.
Very nice. Are there ideas that you have that maybe teachers could help them get started before the end of the school year so that then they could utilize those resources during the summer, even if they don't have a lot of parent support?
Yeah, I mean, I know we've done some different things. We've done like summer learning calendars, or even done like a bingo board, where you can add different activities that virtually take no supplies. It just can be, tell a family member a story, or share a book you're reading with a friend, different games that they could play, hopscotch. It could be something very simple, but just a lot of different ideas. And it can even reflect your building goals. So I know in our building, we noticed that we needed to work on oracy with some of our younger kiddos, and giving them some activities of just talking and having more conversations really helped come the next school year.
And you can give them a pre-made bingo board where the ideas are already in there, or as a class, you can brainstorm ideas of things that they can put on their bingo board, and then they can customize it and make it their own and add the ones that they're most excited about too.
I love that, especially for upper grade kids who might not be super enthused about summer learning. Maybe they could pick some things. I also like that something like that gives some structure and some routine to their days.
Yeah, structure and routine is really important to keep in place. So then when they transition back to school in August, it's not such a difficult transition. Something that I did as a parent when my kids were little is just I had a chore board where they were learning to be more responsible around the house. And plus it gave them a good sense of self and responsibility. They took pride in doing their chores, and I would have them also go outside and help me in the yard, get them outside as much as possible. So you could kind of incorporate some responsibilities at home onto those bingo boards too.
Absolutely. As a parent, I would appreciate that. A little help around the house.
And when we're thinking of things like, being outside and doing chores and all of that, you could also be helping, especially our younger students who are still learning their letters and letter sounds, to, look around, look outside, find some things that would start with the letter A, find some things that would start with the letter B, start some sort of collection just to get them used to using the world around them to identify letters and sounds and things of that nature. I'm sure you could do that with math too.
Oh,
Find 5 leaves,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and even using like sidewalk chalk to practice writing, or washable paint. That's always fun. Get outside with the hose on a hot summer day and use some paints to practice your writing too, and math facts on the sidewalk, things like that. It's fun too.
My neighbor was outside the other day and she had a hopscotch board drawn, and I'm thinking, can we add numbers in there? Can we add letters? Can we add shapes? Can we say, jump on only the even numbers, jump on the vowels, just to kind of add to some of the fun things that they're already doing.
Great ideas.
Another idea I had for staying on track over the summer is goal setting. I like to spend some time with my students setting goals. I'm thinking of things they want to do over the summer, or things they want to accomplish, and the things they can do to accomplish those goals. I know for myself, I'm always focused on exercise and getting outside. So I try to accomplish that each day, and, giving kids the opportunity to kind of self-reflect and make a plan for the summer.
I love that. So being just nosy, do you want to share what your personal goal is for the summer?
Well, it's a little lofty. I have 2 girls of my own, and they are encouraging me on this goal. So I'm hoping to get up there and exercise every morning. In their mind, they want it to be 5 a.m. I'm more of a 5 p.m. girl, but we'll see how it goes. But just hit the gym and exercise each day.
Very inspirational. I'm not sure I'd join you every day, but it's inspirational. Are there any last minute pro tips that you would recommend that teachers could use so that they avoid any pitfalls that you may have experienced in doing these summer learning opportunities in your careers?
I would think one thing I learned over the years was with the summer learning calendars, I don't like to include the dates on there. I just have the grid with no actual dates on there. So I can use it year to year and I don't have to change everything just to adjust the days each year. So that's one thing I do like to do. And I also like to remind parents that all the little things that they're doing over the summer, whether it be, having your child count the money in your piggy bank, or reading on a rainy day, read with a flashlight, building a fort. Those are all things that help us when they get to school in the fall to be ready to learn.
And just even like as you're talking about that, I'm thinking about academic language, and parents or babysitters or older brothers and sisters just using language like under, over, before, after, names of shapes, names of colors, whatever it might be for the different ages. Those are all things that can really be helpful when the student returns in the fall.
Speaking of languages, I think being mindful of what languages are spoken in your community and who will be accessing these materials, and leaving enough time to allow for translation. Or if you have students who are not yet readers, you could use pictures instead of words on your bingo board or your calendar, or try to include both or a mixture of those things.
Yeah, I love that. Great tips. I'm so grateful, because I would totally make some of those mistakes. So I very much appreciate that. And thank you both for sharing your wisdom and expertise with us and our audience.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
So bringing it back to our purpose today, we can keep learning going through the summer. And we hope you got some great ideas today. Thank you to our guests. Thank you to our listeners. And we look forward to having you listen again on Can Do Teaching.